Welcome back to the ASUG News Studio. I'm Craig Powers, and I'm joined by Helen Frericks of Entegris. And she's here today to talk to us about super users and self-service BI. How are you doing, Helen?
Good, thank you.
Good. Helen just finished her presentation. I heard it was packed, as usual.
Yeah. Standing room only, fortunately, which is, it's my biggest fear. Nobody comes, but I think everybody's in the same boat when it comes to self-service. So
all right.
It's a good thing.
With self-service BI, give me a definition of what that is.
I was thinking about this earlier. It's what's the best way to describe self-service? And it's not about the tools, and it's not about reports and IT delivering reports that other people consume. It's really a state of mind about how do we make it so that our users are able to help themselves to understand their data better and have better access to it and the ability to react more quickly to their demands within the business world. So when I think about it, it's about how we deliver reports, and it's how we enable the users to benefit from that.
Yeah, and when I think of self-service BI, usually, what I normally hear is from larger companies who maybe have more of the resources to train people and do those things on their own.
Yep.
So, but you work more at a small and medium-sized company. So how does that work for you at a smaller company?
That's also interesting because really for the smaller to mid-sized companies, self-service isn't one of those nice-to-haves. It's absolutely mandatory. We need to have that because I have an IT department of 10 people, which have to handle all of SAP and all our business intelligence.
Yeah.
And so for us, self-service is the only way that we can deliver output to the end users. So it's mandatory. That's why my presentation was, it's not a dream, it's reality, because reality is what enables us to be successful this way.
Absolutely. And so, as I said before, you presented on super users, and which makes me think of the keynote earlier with people wearing a cape and all that. So, do they wear capes, or what is a super
some of them
user?
do, actually.
Some of them do.
Yes, I'm actually thinking about having capes made for them. Our super users, we started a program back in 2010 where we brought global users in from around, obviously from around the world because they're global, and trained them on what it meant to be a super user. And we trained them on our data, we trained them on our BI tools and how to deliver them. And we brought them on board and said, without you, we are nothing. Self-service is nothing without the support of the super users. So the super users became an integral part of our strategy for delivering self-service. You can't do one without the other. And so they go hand in hand, very important to us to have super users.
Yeah, so now that you have them now, what inspired you, what brought you to that point of having these super users in your company?
I took over the business intelligence function at Entegris in 2009. And when I looked at it, and I looked at the way that we had failed in the past, I was given this opportunity to take over this business intelligence practice and said, we weren't successful before. Nobody likes business intelligence.
Yeah.
Nobody likes BW. Nobody likes business objects. How are we going to make it better? And as I started to do research and said, one of the first things I need to do is actually have a strategy. I need to define a strategy for how we as a company want to report. And through going through that exercise and saying, from a maturity standpoint, where are we? It was a natural progression to come to super users and say, this is what we need to enable us to move forward. So that's really where it came together.
So it's obviously been a really successful thing for you. Now you're presenting on it. It's really popular for other people that want to hear about it. So how does a business go about implementing a super user strategy?
What I say in my presentation is, talk about your super user strategy. First of all, define it, define a vision, define where you want to go, and then talk about it to anybody who will listen.
Yeah.
Everybody and anybody, because it's not something that you can do for free. I mean, there is a cost associated with it, but if you can expose your executives and your senior managers to conceptually how it will save you in the long term, because there is an ROI on super users. There is that benefit of having your users take responsibility, freeing up your IT time for other things. So keep talking and talking, and eventually they'll get the message. It also helps to have a key focus. So in Entegris' case, we had a focus on we actually had an upgrade to one of our systems, and it was how are we going to do this upgrade and not impact the business in a negative way. Bring in super users, reestablish that policy, and that really helps you to get to that. Both of those two things, talk to anybody who'll listen, and if you have a focus, it really helps.
Definitely, and a lot of companies, and I'm sure you did too at Entegris, already have this support structure for BI set up with IT usually, because they're the ones that work with SAP. So how do these super users now fit in with those IT, with that support structure that's already in place?
Yeah, so we actually we have an inverted triangle approach. So top of the pyramid, or the inverted pyramid, we have the very wide-ranging user base. So we have 2,800 users in SAP itself. We have close to 800-900 in BI. So that's our user base. So it's the broad base of the triangle. We come down a level, and then we have our super users. We don't have a direct ratio between the number of super users and the number of users. We kind of go for, we'll take anybody who's prepared to help. It's really our approach. Below that, we have our business. We have what are called kind of business data analysts who help. They're within the business unit, but their goal is to help provide that kind of data analysis to the business. And then below that, at the point, we have IT and the BAs, business analysts that we have within IT. And then we rely very heavily on both SAP and ASOG to provide us with as much education and support as we can get from that. So that's kind of the model that we go for, but it does fit very nicely together.
Great, and well, thank you for coming on with us.
Thank you.
It's a really, really interesting topic, and obviously it was popular with your jam-packed.
I hope so.
Yeah. So we'll have more great interviews from the SBOUC showroom floor on asognews.com. Thank you.